this man took from me. Now I am prepared to take from him. You will be paid handsomely once you complete this task. If you do not complete the task, you will be crucified on the dark web for the world to see. It is your choice to walk away now or accept my invitation.
All I told him was good evening. Such a friendly greeting surely wouldn't have provoked such a nervous response. But from the man that was known to me only as Mr. Soon-to-be-dead, it sent his veins pumping. The man I was going to kill licked his lips a lot. It was gross, for sure, but I held my composure. I wanted to laugh at him, to tell him he'd be better off getting into my car so I could take him to some sketchy motel and kill him. But there were people all around us. He knew exactly what I was going to do to him, and the brilliance about that lied in the fact that no one else had any clue. Him? Why would he die? He was a great husband, father, an asset to his community. Surely there'd be no reason for someone to hire a hitman like me to push him off of the edge of the planet. But this man was not a good man. Probably no better than me, no better than Mr. Dickens, who sent me to kill him. It was all so twisted. Everyone involved had secret demons in their closets. Oddly enough, he spoke first after our short bout of small talk, suggesting that I come with him to get a drink. His wife and daughter rolled their eyes as if they expected as much and took off walking back to their house, which I assumed must not have been far. "What was your name again?" Mr. Soon-to-be-dead asked me once we got to his favorite drinking spot. Everyone there gave this man nods of approval while scowling in my direction. Did they know too? I pretended as though they did, though in all reality they just knew him and loved him and didn't know me from Adam. "It depends on who you ask," I said, answering the man's question. "Some say I have no name at all." "No name then. That's what I'll call you." The man suddenly burst out laughing. He was going mad. He had to have been. He only had one drink. I nodded and drank whatever it was Mr. Soon-to-be-dead had ordered for me. For all I knew, it could have been poisoned. A rookie mistake I'll never make again. He told me then of his wife and his daughter, about how they considered homeschooling because the world was so bitter and cruel. He was one to talk. "Seen the sky lately?" I smiled. "The sunsets have been so wonderful these past couple of nights." The man swallowed hard and my pleasant smile became a smirk. Sky was the name, or alleged name, of the woman he killed. Sky, as it turned out, belonged to a very powerful man, Mr. Dickens, who now wanted this secret sleazeball dead. Could I have been more forward? Maybe I should have asked him if he enjoyed killing prostitutes. The man said nothing more other than to tell me he had enough to drink and would be outside if I wanted to talk further. Did he want to die? Or was he trying to get to me just as he did the other people he killed? I waited a good 30 minutes before I went outside. All the rest was a blur. What I remember most is that I won our little duel. It was like two animals who knew that only one could survive, the ones who knew there could be only one king. I took him to a very small motel and asked him if any of it looked familiar. He said no, but my God, for someone who has been lying to his family so long, he sure couldn't keep a straight face with me. "You killed some woman in here." I pulled out a sword that had formerly been masked as a cane. I wasn't old enough for such things, not quite, but to me it looked very classy. Anyway, I continued on with my speech. "I don't care that you kill women. All right, honestly, I do care. You bringing in whores off the street and brutally killing them only to go back home and play Mr. Rogers to your family and peers unsettles me. But it's your business. My problem is the fact that you're still breathing when I've been hired to kill you. So I guess that only leaves me with one solution. Do you, by any chance, know what that solution might be? The man said nothing, which was expected. I guess I should have told you that by this point, I had him bound and gagged and tied, and all manners of restraint were used. I overdid it a bit, but that's just how I do business. I know how you did it. I know, at least sort of, when you did it. And I was told to end you in the very same fashion. Although I just don't see killing you with a pipe and God knows what else is a very classy thing to do. So for now, the sword will have to suffice. I watched the man shake violently, as if he were trying to tell me I had the wrong person. I knew I didn't. Perhaps he was so desperate to live that, in that moment, he believed his own lies about living a normal life. Oh, how badly I wanted to keep going on about the poetic aspect of his death. That I would take his life in the same manner he took other people's lives. But the money I was yet to be paid for this deed whispered to me that I'd better quit while I was ahead. The man, as vulnerable as he could be, fell victim to tiny cuts across his chest. I watched him suffer for only a moment before I jammed the sword into his natal cleft. Blood sprayed everywhere, all over the bed sheets and the walls. I smiled. I killed him exactly as I was supposed to. The smell of his innards filled the room in an instant, and I was completed to breathe it all in. Maybe I would have felt bad if I'd killed an innocent man for free. But I was being paid to take an evil man and drag him to hell. It was so beautiful. I took my sword and in the middle of his back I carved the number 1. Not my first kill, but it was the first kill I found relevant. I smiled again and swiftly left the scene. Days after, there was a beautiful funeral held for the man who media dubbed as a victim of gang violence. His wife and daughter wept as they told the cameras the world had lost a great and kind soul. Mr. Dickens paid me handsomely as he said he would, and told me that with his connections and means of getting information, that there would be plenty more work in the future should I choose to accept it. Of course, I said yes. What's the harm in taking another life? There are plenty to go around.
Excuse me? The community. What kind of question is that at my husband's funeral? Screw the community. You take that microphone and shove it up your ass. I lost my husband, and this little girl lost her father. Go to hell.
All right. Yep, we're clear. 3, 2, 1.
Dickens owns the elementals. They represent water, earth,
fire, and air.
They are not playful women by
inside,
but rather forced worshippers of a deranged, dark-web criminal. These women do terrible things just to stay alive, but one night, a member named Sky escaped.